talking about the fact that one of the member we've got has a team that has never tried beauty and the hairdressers, and they don't even know what beauty is doing, and it's quite a nice beauty space, really, isn't it?
Yes.
But ultimately, how can you sell something you've no idea about the therapist, what they do, what's their hands like, how the results that they're getting? So there's definitely a lack of cross-selling, I guess, between the two departments.
Yeah, so you get that with hairdressers and beauty, like you just said, but also quite often beauty teams, skin teams, whatever it may be. If some of them are focusing on brows and some of them focusing on skin, that's a perfect opportunity whilst you've got somebody doing brows to talk about skin. It doesn't have to be a hard sell, but you might be talking about them going on holiday and be like, oh, there's an amazing treatment, they've got upstairs, I had it not so long ago. I think it's absolutely vital and key in order to generate more business and bring more people through the door that each of the team are talking about different elements because they know about it, because they've tried it.
But I think it always goes back to the budget, right? And the time, because if you do take your team to have a treatment, to understand what is it like, it's going to cost you double, really, in terms of the therapist doing the treatment or the hairdresser, in between not being able to book a client, plus the other person having... So it's costing you quite a lot. And that's the biggest questions we have when we're talking about the budget and when we're really analysing the budget. What can my team get in terms of freebies? How do I make sure that they don't go anywhere else and I treat them the same way? And if you're really busy salon, it's very difficult to get your head around it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a completely different side to it, isn't it? So that's, what can I offer my team as part of their wellness package? What can I afford, or what is a reasonable thing to give to them? But then on the flip side of that is, how do I ensure my team are all able to cross-sell and upsell because they understand what's happening in other areas of the business.
Yeah.
And we know that where we've looked at, quite big or bigger businesses where they've maybe got beauty downstairs and skin upstairs, and a client who's been coming a couple of years might suddenly say, I never knew you had an upstairs, but because we're not talking about it. I used to do a training day once a quarter where I'd bring the whole team in, and we used to be closed on a Monday, so I'd bring the whole team in on a Monday, so we wouldn't use the client base for that, and they would all trial treatments on each other so that they could showcase and feel it. I mean, because otherwise you've got members of the team even doing treatments that they've never had before as well.
Yeah, for sure.
They might have gone on the training and they're doing that, but they need to know what that feels like. So yes, absolutely, it comes down to the budget. What can you afford? But there's ways of looking at it, and ultimately the end goal will be financially better if your team...
Because your team knows everything about everything, isn't it? And they understand the value of what the treatments are, which is the whole point of doing this. But it is, again, and we're going to talk about this again and again, it's in the planning. You can't just suddenly decide, oh, well, yes, all come. Because I think... Again, we're dealing with a lot of teams that are part-time. We're dealing with a lot of teams that are not necessary. So you've got to make it work that is fair for everybody.
Yes.
And maybe it's not a whole day. Maybe it's every week somebody's getting a treat or whatever on the Tuesday when it's quieter, or assessing what's the best, really, isn't it? But I think we do talk to owners sometimes, and I know I had the issue where they were doing treatments on each other without knowing us knowing anyway, and that was, not necessarily wrong in a sense that we want them to do treatment on each other, and we want to, like you said, feel the whole kind of energy around that treatment. But it has to be, again, a process, isn't it? Otherwise you don't know who's had what, how. You can't measure anything.
Oh no, you absolutely have to know. I mean, my team had to ask me if I used to allow my team to come in before the hours of work or stay after the hours of work if they wanted to do treatments on each other, and that would be, they would get that at cost. So whatever it costs to carry out that treatment, they would get it. And between them, they actually worked that out in a really good way, and that worked, so they each benefited from it. But like you said, there's teams that do different hours and are paid on different pay scales, so there's working out to do as to who gets what. Some of our clients do a wellness treatment once a month, where the manager may do the treatment on them. If they come in a bit earlier, then they can have a free massage or a free facial, and that's so there's lots of different sections to treatments. How do the team get to know them, and wellness as well within the treatment.
I used to get the new staff member to do a treatment on everyone, so they kind of get to know her. There's that, whether they're hairdressers or whether the therapist is that connection, and you get that kind of feedback as well, which is quite interesting from the team perspective, having trialed with a new person. And also it's kind of a model situation where we just need her to be, signed off on treatment, or him or they are on treatments, etc. So but again, to me, it has to be planned. It has to be a process. It has to be within the budget, because I know I keep going on about that.
It's
because
such a killjoy, Valerie.
It just goes back to the budget, because it is an issue, in particular when you are back to back with treatment and you're very busy. And when you're quieter, it can have a different mindset around, well, it's quiet anyway. So to me, that's a mindset of, well, you're never going to make it busy if you've got that mindset and you're not allowing clients to come in. That's a whole different podcast altogether. But in terms of the structure of what you want to achieve, if you're clear with the team, surely then they know what to expect, right?
Yeah, and also, kind of going on from what you said, there's also understanding and seeing the value in. I feel like we might be having an argument here. But no.
It's just because we're talking budget.
I know, exactly. But there, you have to understand the value in doing that for, the team, so that they're very... And also, I think, how they present themselves. I remember my team used to be able to have we had sort of the beauty and the skin side. And within the beauty, we used to do gel nails, and that was one of their parts, was they could have their nails done every 2 weeks. They do it on each other, free of charge, and then anything else was cost. But if they had their brows, and we used to do lamination and things like that, then it's showcasing the treatments to clients. Be like, oh, I love your brows.
Yeah, who done
like,
it?
Oh, I've had
Salon down the road.
A home kit from eBay.
Amazon.com. Yeah.
But I think it's you have to realise the value in it, and sometimes it's almost like when you pull yourself or your manager out of the business because you want them to. It's the same kind of struggle. You're thinking to yourself, well, once I come out, then I've got to pay someone to do this. Or,
for sure.
There's swings and roundabouts to everything you do, and you just need to realise the value in everything you're doing and what the end goal is.
So ultimately, there's no argument.
Who's right and who's wrong?
I'm not saying you're wrong, because I do think that you've got to make sure that the team is aware of everything that you offer, and I completely agree with that. And why having your hair colour or haircuts in a different hair salon if you're showcasing hair at your business? That makes zero sense whatsoever. So it is absolutely 100% making sense, but just want to put an idea behind it. I just want to make sure that it's monitored, that's all. And also there is an element of understanding and knowing what is the result from it. How did you enjoy it? Is it part of that customer journey that is really special because, oh my God, she did that, or he did that, or whatever, and they've got that amazing touch, and that to me is a selling point anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, because also you're once they've had the treatment, then it should be a follow-up. How do you think you could bring this into the treatment that you do? How could you talk about it? What would be the kind of trigger points from clients where you could bring that in?
Yes.
We've said that before, where a client might be talking about they're going on holiday, and rather than kind of that, go in and listen and think, holiday, okay, so you're going to have a spray tan for that before you go? They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going on holiday too. And it's lovely to have that chat.
Yes.
But we miss the buying signs or the selling signals as such. So, but if you then land that in their lap after they've tried something, if a client's come in for this, you could use that. Do you think that treatment would be nice for them to have as an add-on or a
team effort as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
We used to get the girls the team when they were doing this kind of treatment on each other, etc. They ended up buddying up a bit US kind of language, but you know, butting up of like, oh God, I really like her. I'm gonna refer her to my clients because I don't do massage. She does massage.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing. And it was really interesting how that buddying up culture was actually impactful on the customer journey and on the team, because they just felt that they worked together a lot more. So all you have to do now is press the subscribe button and join us every week for an insight chat.
And if you have any burning questions that we haven't yet answered, then just pop in the comments below or send us an email and we can include them in one of our weekly chats.
I've started this amazing community of like-minded salon owners to join us on a monthly basis with our Insight Chat subscription.
Yeah, on that chat as well, you'll also get access to lots of free downloads and content that can really support you in your business.
And thank you so much for listening.
And we'll see you next time.